Once upon a time, in a lush green meadow, there lived a small mouse named Molly. Molly was a kind and gentle mouse who always loved helping others. She had a cozy little home under a tree where she lived with her family. Her parents taught her to be generous and compassionate to all creatures, big and small. One day, while Molly was gathering berries in the field, she overheard some distressing news. A group of mice who lived in the nearby woods were facing a food shortage. The harsh winter had left them with very little to eat, and they were struggling to survive. Molly knew she had to help her fellow mice in any way she could. She immediately went to her parents and shared the news with them. Her parents were proud of Molly's kind-heartedness and encouraged her to help in any way she could. They offered her some of the extra food they had gathered and suggested that she reach out to other mice in the meadow to join her in her mission. Molly wasted no time and went from house to house, gathering food, and recruiting volunteers to help. She met her friends Timmy, Johnny, and Sarah, who were happy to join her. Together, they gathered as much food as they could and set off to the woods to help the struggling mice. As they reached the woods, they saw that the situation was much worse than they had anticipated. The mice were weak and frail, and many of them were sick. They had not eaten in days, and some had already perished. Molly and her friends were determined to make a difference, and they got to work immediately. Molly and her team set up a small camp where they could distribute the food they had gathered. They divided the food into small portions and distributed it among the mice. They also collected firewood and lit a fire to keep the mice warm during the chilly nights. Molly and her friends spent hours every day tending to the sick mice, giving them medicine, and offering comfort. Over the next few weeks, Molly and her team worked tirelessly to help the mice. They continued to bring food, medicine, and warmth to the mice until the spring arrived. The woods were now filled with the happy chirping of birds and the joyful squeaking of mice. The mice who had once been weak and frail were now healthy and strong, and they were grateful for the kindness and generosity of Molly and her friends. Molly and her team had made a big difference in the lives of these mice. They had shown them that kindness and compassion could make a world of difference in times of need. The mice in the woods would never forget the selfless act of kindness shown to them by Molly and her friends. From that day on, they knew that they could always count on the kindness of others, even in the toughest of times. Molly and her friends returned to their meadow with a sense of fulfillment and happiness. They had helped those in need and had made a difference in the world. Molly's parents were proud of her, and the other mice in the meadow admired her for her kindness and generosity. Molly had learned an important lesson, that even small acts of kindness could make a big difference in the world. She continued to help others in need, whether it was a lost bird in the meadow or a sick mouse in the woods. Molly had become a hero in the eyes of those around her, and she knew that she would always be there to help others in their time of need.